He says there's like no racial inequality in America.
Wow.
I mean, focusing on property damage more than people being
Than
murdered is
human
just
lives.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, that part of it is just crazy. Constantly
Major
playing in
news
the
companies are
background.
not fucking news companies. They're entertainment companies.
Yeah.
Facts.
I don't trust none
The
of
quicker
them.
you realize that, the happier you'll be.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 7 of the Unboxing Life podcast. I said the episode number. Are you happy, Trevor?
Hey, I'm ecstatic.
All right. My name is Cameron, and I'm here on this lovely afternoon with my two co-hosts, slightly depressed and not a real My Hero Academia fan. How you doing, boys?
I'm slightly depressed. I'm Trevor.
And I'm not a real My Hero Academia fan, apparently. I'm David.
I didn't actually think you were gonna say it out loud. That makes it so much better. Why are you not a real My Hero Academia fan?
Well, I just mentioned this briefly before we started, where because I haven't rewatched it. I just finished season 4.
Nah, I was just joking because you hadn't watched the most recent episodes yet, and you said you just did it, so I was being an asshole about it. And anyway, why are you slightly depressed, Trevor?
World is fucked up, man.
That's very true.
To put it very, very lightly. We're gonna spend a lot of time on this episode talking about the Jacob Blake thing and just society as a whole right now. We spent a lot of time in pre-production just talking about it, so hopefully we'll be able to reiterate those thoughts for you guys. But it's gonna be a serious episode. We're definitely gonna have some lighter tones throughout and towards the end of the episode, but got to get some of this depression out. Got to talk about it.
So we're gonna start with our traditions.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll start off on a lighter note with me. I'll go first with a fun fact, and then we can transition into some of the more serious stuff via David and Trevor's traditions. So, All right,
let's get it.
So the fun fact this week: in the late '80s and early '90s, Nintendo Mania swept the United States. Without the internet, and therefore without YouTube, obviously, gamers had no real way of figuring out how to beat game levels they were stuck on unless they had like a friend that could help them or something like that. So, to solve this problem, Nintendo set up a literal helpline that you could call into and contact a game counselor who could then walk you through the level step by step.
I remember hearing about that on a Scott the Woz video, actually.
Wow.
Because he does all kinds of fun knicky-knacks about like old gaming and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's such a great fucking fun fact.
It's wild. There were a lot of them too. They talk about
that, I guess
I read up on the
that
article
happened before cheat codes.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. This is like literally like OG Zelda and like stuff like this, like very old, like 8-bit
side-scrolling
games.
Zelda.
Yeah. Like the OG Nintendo like console. It was just called the Nintendo. Like games that existed before we were born. So yeah.
Can you just imagine like a 30-year-old in a suit and tie sitting at a desk in 1990, just waiting to hear some fucking prepubescent teens like, I can't get past this dungeon.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what it was like. They talk about they interviewed 3 of them for the article that I got this from. They talk about a lot about stuff, and they have like all these shared experiences of like some of the games being an absolute pain in the ass. Like one of them, like every room looks the same. Apparently, I think it's like the Goonies game or something like that. So like people would call up and be like, "I'm in the room with the gray bricks," and it's like every room looks like that. I need a little more than that, bud. You're gonna have to help me out here. So yeah,
there's a lantern in the top right.
They even said like you picture a call center, right? It's like cubicles or whatever. They talk about one of the guys talked about he made friends with a guy a few cubicles down from him, and like while they were just chilling in the fucking while they were chilling in the call center just taking calls, they hit a wire like in between the rows of cubicles that connected to a Nintendo. So they had one controller was at this guy's cubicle, and then 2 cubicles down or whatever, he had the other controller, and then they set up a TV like above, or they shared the screen somehow, and they fucking would just play games all day, like just taking call center or taking
That's
calls
amazing.
for the Nintendo helpline, and they would just like in between calls or on calls, they would like play games together.
The original streamer.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
so chill,
It's like phone sex before FaceTime.
Okay, I guess it's like that.
That's an astute analogy, I suppose.
That's a great fun fact. I like that.
So yeah,
Yes, thank you.
There's that.
Unfortunately, we're not gonna follow up with the great energy, but
true. Yeah. All
keep
right.
it serious these days. But David, you want to hit us with your
were
fucking track of the week, my G?
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited
want
to
to do something relevant. There's a lot of options for this, of course.
Endless.
I picked Babylon by Joey Babass. Yes.
Okay. So
Um,
say who is that again?
Joey Badman.
Okay. So for our listeners that know that David does not curse, it's a rapper named Joey Badass,
Yes.
and
One
his
of my
name
favorites.
stands for Before the Money. It's
Oh yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
guess it does. Yeah, and the album too.
Yep.
Okay, so this song came out in 2017, on his album, and
On All American Badass.
yes, thank you. It's about police brutality, mainly, very focused on it. I thought it was good to pick because he, I don't know, there's an intellectual way to engage with this. There's an emotional way to engage with this kind of stuff. I think he sort of does both on this. He starts out kind of chilled out, but then he starts.
This is the reggae vibe one, right?
Yeah, there's some reggae. He has Chronics on it, who's like a reggae artist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I want to read some of the lines that remember this came out 3 years ago. So he's
And
talking
it's more
about
relevant than ever.
Yeah, well, he says, you're not protecting and serving, more like damaging and hurting, letting off shots till you're certain that he ain't breathing. You made it clear. Fuck your. I just cussed it out. Whatever, dude. I'm cussing. Whatever, dude. I'm cussing now because.
Yeah, we out here. No, we out here, dog.
It's actually on record this
Wow.
time.
We fucking out here, dog.
Incredible.
No, do it.
Bruh.
Just lay into it. You
Yeah.
sounded amazing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, he's.
This is your breakthrough
Wow, that was
moment. This is your turning point in your
Let him
entire
have
life.
it.
I just got filled with such anxiety from that.
Nah,
Let
go.
him have
Do it.
I guess it's my time. So he says, fuck your breath. N-word don't even deserve air. Don't even deserve shit. Don't even deserve nothing. If Black Lives really mattered, you would do something.
Yes.
So
Let's go,
obviously
David.
we've had George Floyd. I Can't Breathe. Obviously Eric Garner. He's saying they don't even deserve air. That's the mentality of these people. I thought that was. I mean, think about it, it's 3 years ago, and it's the exact same thing that just happened. Multiple times, and then later on, this is also the sort of intellectual examination of the entire system. He's talking about nowadays they're hanging us by a different tree, branches of the government. I can name all three. Yeah, judicial, legislative, and executive. Yeah, lock your pops away, your moms, and then next to the kids. It's all consecutive. So the school to prison pipeline, the way the drug war is used to just lock away poor people and black people, people of color who live in certain neighborhoods where drugs are common in like all neighborhoods, especially you're talking about marijuana. But if you have the police focusing on one neighborhood, then people are going to get locked up and actually do time for it. So there's a giant disparity there. So that's him engaging with that. I think art like this can do a lot. I understand if you say, like, I get like your ideology and the way you view the world shouldn't be based on one song. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe if you listen to this, the emotion that he's displaying and like the facts that he's talking about can sort of get to you and
echo and with you. Yeah, I think that if you like this song or even just like him as a rapper, you should listen to this album. It's extremely vivid for the time that it was released. I think it was released April 15th, 2017.
17th or 15th or
Or
something.
maybe it was
Yeah,
the 7th. I think it was the
on
week
Steve's
before
Day, right?
Damn.
Yeah, Capital Steve's Day. His friend,
Yeah.
rest in peace. Um, yeah, uh,
Fantastic track for sure.
yeah, that's my recommendation. Babylon. All right.
To tell the truth, man, I'm fucking disgusted. Oh my.
Yeah, another
Yep.
black man dealt out the white hand of justice. Yep.
Yep. Great
So,
fucking recommendation. Again, it's Babylon by Joey Badass.
Very cool.
yeah.
Very good.
I'm so fucking proud of you, dude. I know that you're shaking right now because I can feel it.
Bro, you know what, bro? This is it. This I'm gonna say it here.
It is
I
done.
think
This is the end.
I agree.
This is
I
the
think I
this
don't
is the
think
new time.
it's time to be censored anymore.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for honestly a while, and
That's good,
this was
dude.
not planned, but all right.
Yeah, my reaction was as genuine as it gets.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is,
proud of you, dude. This is good. Good step forward. And it's not even
I
like on
guess.
some funny shit, like for
Yeah,
real. That's important. It's
I
important to be
appreciate
able
it.
to speak your mind and not have to worry about what you're saying like that.
Yeah, I don't think I need to hold my tongue anymore. I'm not
I
gonna
think
use it to disrespect people and belittle them.
for
So,
sure. That's a great healthy way to look at it.
all right, Trevor.
Sometimes you just need the word fuck. It's so versatile. You can use it as an adjective, you can use it as a noun, you can use it as a verb, an adverb.
Yeah, I can't quote that song how serious it is and say frick or something like it
Yeah,
just is not the same.
I agree.
So,
That's good, dude. All right, I'm gonna go with my tradition. It's not a quote or a poem, but it's pretty. It strikes me every time I see this on social media. So it's a little girl. It's on Black Thought's IG actually, and it's
mm,
funny that we're gonna talk about Black Thought soon. Um, it's just a little girl holding up this white sign, and it says, "We said Black Lives Matter. We never said that only Black Lives Matter. We know that all lives matter. We just need your help because Black lives are in danger." And
yeah,
that's about as simple as it gets in terms of encapsulating what's wrong with society right now.
mm,
The fact that people still say all lives matter shakes me to my core because they're just missing the entire point of what's happening right now. And I guess we're just gonna jump right into it. Do
yeah.
you want to give a brief overview of what's happening with Mr. Jacob Blake?
Um, me sure.
For those of you that are living under a rock, I think he's 29, right? In
Yeah,
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
yeah.
Apparently, he
Yeah,
was trying to break up a fight between two women. I guess another detail was that he had keys that he shouldn't have had, and they wanted him to leave the present or the
mm,
premises, whatever.
Yeah.
yeah,
So the main video that you see is taken like maybe a minute or so, minute and a half before he gets shot. And you can just clearly see him walking around an SUV. And in this SUV, he has three of his sons. Apparently, he has 6 kids. So three of his children are sitting in this SUV, just like watching through the window, like what's happening with their father. And he's walking around his SUV just calmly, not any visible threat. He's not cursing at the officers. He doesn't even have his hands up. He's just walking very slowly to the car. He opens the driver's side window or door, and the officers are right behind him with guns drawn. And one of them pulls the guy that shoots him. One of them pulls his tank top and proceeds to fire 7 shots, 4 of which hit him and damaged his spine so that he's partially paralyzed, if not permanently paralyzed from the waist down. He is currently in the hospital, shackled to his bed over nothing. He was no visible threat at all. They found a knife a small legal knife they found in his van with his 3 children who he got shot in front of. Like,
mhm.
if that doesn't like break your heart, it doesn't even, like, obviously we want to have more evidence. We want to know what exactly happened, but at the same time, who deserves that? Who deserves to be shot in front of their kids like that?
Yeah. I mean, I, this is we're gonna talk about people trying to justify this, and like you said, I understand wanting to wait a little bit and see if there's anything else that comes out, but
Hmm.
um, people don't do that. They're jumping to the justification that he owned a knife.
They're
And
jumping the gun, pun intended.
yeah,
I want to
I understand
before you
it's
continue, David. I want to
okay.
put up the top. We're recording this on August
Yeah.
28th, Friday, August 28th. So if anything, and it'll be uploaded on August 30th, 2 days from now. So
Hmm.
if I doubt it, because usually by like how many days ago did this
It
happen?
takes it.
A few.
It's
So
4
I
thing.
don't see any new information coming out that's going to discredit anything we say, or make it incorrect or weird or whatever.
Hmm.
But we're currently working with the information that is available to everyone as of Friday, August 28th. So if anything comes
Yeah.
out over the
Yeah.
weekend, and you like listen to this podcast and you're like, why didn't they talk about that? That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just put your pitchforks down. Well, if
The thing
if
is,
something does come up that like completely derails what happened, we will more than likely
We'll bring it up next
address it
cast.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the
yeah,
week
yeah.
after, or whenever it happens.
Yeah, good to point out. But yeah, so people make the argument that he had a knife in the car, and I understand they're sort of getting at that he was, which he was like rushing for it and going to use it, which is not what happens in the video.
Mm-mm.
So if that doesn't happen in the video, then what it sounds like what you're saying is he deserved to be shot and paralyzed for owning a knife.
Mm.
And I get like people wouldn't agree with that, right? So it's a little bit baffling that people try to stick to these kind of arguments, or like um George Floyd had a criminal record, or certain people who are killed have a criminal record.
Mm.
And yeah, okay. They don't need to be, angels and saints for it to be a
For
tragedy
sure.
when they're killed, and for it to be completely wrong to have the cops act as judge, jury, and executioner in our country that is, I mean,
We
no
pay
country
them to protect us. It is to
yeah.
protect and serve. They are public servants,
Hmm.
and they carry firearms that they're able to wield and use in a professional way, and they don't. It's like the first resort now. If your skin is any shade of non-white, if you're not Caucasian, you run the risk of dying whenever you are in contact with a police officer. That's just the bitter truth.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy to me like how many people don't see this happening yet. Like they're just like, "Oh, there's no racial inequalities." We were talking about a certain someone in your life, David, that doesn't acknowledge that there's racial inequalities.
Hmm.
How can you say that? How many people have to be murdered in the street for you to realize that it's not the same if you're not white? I walk with the privilege knowing that if I walk from my house to the Walmart that's like a mile away from my street, I never have to worry about getting stopped by a police officer and getting shot in broad daylight because I'm white.
Yeah.
That's white
There,
privilege.
yeah. There's this idea that when people rise up and speak against this thing, that somehow, I mean, there's a lot of ideas that people try to counter with, but somehow like they're brainwashed, or like they get convinced and tricked into thinking this is happening. Just, I mean, the fear that's in like most Black Americans' minds and hearts towards the police is not. It's learned through experience. You're not just trying to prove a political point, so therefore you have this fear of the cops that's just from nowhere. That's from
Mhm.
somewhere. It seems mind-boggling and like counter to human nature to suggest that's just this made-up political point or something. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
I want to get into like all lives matter. In a moment of transparency, when this shit first popped off, at least in my life, because at the time I didn't have social media. This was about 2016, when the Trump election was happening. I forget what exactly kicked off the whole Black Lives Matter hashtag, but do you guys have any recollection of that? Was it the election or was it
uh,
something else?
it was, I believe,
Because polls
they
happened that same year. That was a crazy year.
I know. They formed, I think, in 2013, but in 2014, I believe, was when Eric Garner was murdered, and it became like a bigger movement. I think
Okay.
it gained popularity that year.
Yeah. So then
If I'm
2016,
mistaken,
it
I
just
could be.
kind of popped off for me, at least. I didn't have social media, so I had no idea what was going on. And at
Yeah.
the time, it was just, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And me being the idiot that I was at the time, when I hear the counter argument to that, which is not a counter argument, it's stupidity. When people say that all lives matter, I agreed with that at the time because in my heart, I'm not racist, and I thought that encapsulated the very thing that is right, that all lives do matter, and they do, but you cannot have all lives matter if a certain group doesn't matter. So I was under the impression, and I did have a couple conversations with people like here and there, especially with the whole Kaepernick thing. That was so painful, and I still, another transparent moment. I thought that he was disrespecting the flag too, like when that first came out, because I was stupid. I had no fucking idea what was happening. I had no idea why he was actually protesting. He spoke with military veterans and asked them the best way to protest, and they told him to take a knee during the national anthem. So he did, and it sparked off a whole bunch of things about the military and disrespecting the country, and it wasn't. It was against police brutality. But we're getting way off the point. Not really off the point, but
there's just so much here. There's so much that has happened that it is ridiculous that we're still talking about it, because something should have happened by now. That, like, they're not something, but like a series of things. Like, there should be motion towards progress, but it's currently just people protesting and then people dying, and then the news cycle moves on. It's fucking disgusting. So it's, I mean, it's, you can call it getting off track, but like there's so much that's like still relevant because nothing has been done about it across the years. So,
and I think I kind of wanted to finish what I was talking about. Like I basically just wanted to reveal that I myself have made mistakes in terms of the political climate nowadays, and all lives do matter. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that this group of people are very much underprivileged in this country. And like I was saying about the whole white privilege thing, like it I don't know. My head is like swimming right now. It's so hard to talk because it's so painful to think about. But
so I want to say I would like to commend you for that, because you went out and literally educated yourself and like got all the information, put it in front of you, like metaphorically, and tried to understand what was going on. Like you actually gave it effort to understand, and you did. You basically did the reading, and you fucking educated yourself and became a better person. So,
and it's not like I was going around saying like, thank you, I appreciate it. It's not like I was going around saying that all lives matter to everyone.
You
I don't
like
even
tweeting
remember
it at people or like harassing people in fucking Instagram comments these dickheads are right now.
I was just like little conversations would happen like with politics, and people would just spout out really ignorant shit. All lives matter, not just black lives, and I would agree with that, because that at the core, like on the surface, it sounds right, but it's not, because it indirectly takes the attention away from the people that need help the most. And I kind of wanted to talk about that that housing metaphor that I used earlier with there was this video on Instagram that I saw of this girl, and she basically is she's in front of a green screen, and there's one house that's not on fire in the same house, but then there's fire. And so she does like the little play on like, how they film Vines, where they just like have two perspectives, but it's the same person. So it goes from her in the front of the normal house and then into the fire, and the chick on the left is like, oh shit, there's a house on fire right there, let's go help. And the chick that's in front of the house that's not on fire says, what about my house? And she's like, and she looks at her puzzled, and she's like, what do you mean, what about your house? And she's like, what about my house? My house matters too, does it not? And she's like, yeah, it matters, but you're not on fire. If you were on fire, we would help you. We're going to go help the people that need help now. And then it kind of ends with, my house matters. Like, all houses matter. This whole neighborhood matters. No shit. Yeah. Like, in order for the neighborhood to matter, you have to care about those who are injured. Just like with triage. I was talking to David about this in pre-production. the whole concept of medical triage. If like if you're in a pileup on the highway and there's like 15 people that are injured, you get put into 3 different categories. You get a green tag, a yellow tag, and a red tag based on the severity of your injury. So if you have a couple cuts on your arm, but you can still survive, then you're fine. You don't have to be complaining about the EMTs that are taking care of the people that have punctured lungs and their necks hanging off their heads, and shit like that.
Yeah, the metaphor
I completely butchered that, but
the metaphor is definitely close, the EMT thing, except the way you said it makes it sound like white people are the green tag people. White people are bystanders. White people aren't even in the car crash.
Yeah,
like that's my only issue with that. Like I like the way you put that a lot. The only amendment I would make is like, we don't even have scratches. Like we're not in any sort of danger at all. We're like on an overpass a mile away, like watching it all happen and being like, why don't I get to ride in the back of the ambulance? It's like, you're literally not in the car crash.
Yeah,
like, please fuck
why
up.
Why do you want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
That's
it's like, if you're gonna be a part of this, help or fuck off. I mean, obviously, don't run into a car crash and help EMTs. Like, but this is outside the metaphor now. It's like, either shut the fuck up or be an ally. Like,
well, yeah, that's why it's so important that Trevor brings up that stuff. It's not like no one comes out of the womb and they have fully formed like educated political opinions or whatever, or they know all the facts. Like, if you're I get it. Like, if you're out there right now, like, why are they saying this? All lives matter. Just understand. And the same with the Kaepernick thing. It's good that you brought that up, because understand this is an effort by people who don't want change to obfuscate the real issue. Them saying Kaepernick is disrespecting the flag and ignoring him every time he tries to talk about what it's actually about, that's intentional. They don't, like, certain people profit off of the way things are, and they just don't care enough for things to change, and so they don't want his voice heard on the issue. They don't want you to know what it's really about. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is just people who are
real life.
People who are on the other side of the issue want to obfuscate it as much as possible, because if you just look at it clearly, it's like, okay, these group of people need help. It will not, like, helping them will only serve to help everyone in the long run, and we should help them because it's a good thing. That's a simple thing to understand, but they try to make it foggy, or like
yeah. I want to bring attention to your obfuscate word. That was a great vocab word that you used. You told me the definition off air, but I want you to explain it to the average listener that probably that doesn't understand.
Let me bring up the
get an official definition in here. It's a
good
word.
Definition.
It's definitely a good word.
Okay,
it's amazing.
Word. Render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. So
obfuscate.
Yes. So all lives matter is, of course, that statement is true, but
that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's like, yes, we don't disagree with you, but that's obfuscation is the reason people are saying it. It's a tactic, or if it's not an intentional tactic, then a lot of people like Trevor, you get caught up in it, and you're unintentionally helping that side just by spreading it around and going like, oh yeah, of course. But it's about just looking like a layer deeper, and you realize what's going on.
I think one of the first steps in acknowledging that there's something happening is, if you're white, acknowledge that you have privilege. It is absolutely vital that you do this, because if not, you're going to always, like, I had this problem. You're going to always take things personally. When I read comment sections and they say, white people did this, white people did that, I used to get really offended. They're not talking about me. They're talking about the ignorant fucks that put them down. They're not talking about the white allies like myself, like Cameron, like David, who are trying to stand up for our black brothers and sisters. They're this shit is so painful.
Depressed. How you doing?
Huh?
Hey, getting more and more depressed by the second. How you doing?
No, for sure. This shit put me in a really bad mood. I went to Hawkers last night with my family, and I couldn't even put on a smile. Like, it was so painful for me, and I've been in such a depressive mood since like 2:30 yesterday, just because I saw I probably shouldn't have watched the video. I probably should curb myself from watching these videos, but at the same time, I need to know what's going on, and I need to know how violent it is, and I need to understand that things aren't getting better yet.
Yeah, man.
And
I mean,
just prayers to the fact that he's still alive. Hopefully he doesn't die in that hospital.
Yeah.
I
Prayers
don't
to
know
him and
how
his
he's
family.
still alive, dude.
Yeah.
Humans fucking live, bro. Like,
I immediately thought of 50 Cent when I heard that. Like, not in a joking way. Like how you could take 7 bullets, 4 of which hit you, and still survive.
Yeah.
Like Curtis Jackson, it took what, 9 shots?
Yeah, it's
took?
crazy sometimes. Yeah. I know.
People just some people aren't meant to die.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But it's so yeah, the thing about white privilege, it's good you said, like, yeah, that's the thing. You don't take it personal when you realize what people are saying. Like, it's
Mhm.
not the idea behind it is not that every white person has had a super nice life or something.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
simply
That's
yeah,
a great point that I want to
yeah,
iterate on you. Yeah. We're not when we say white privilege, we're not discrediting your life. We're not saying that your life was any less tougher than any other person on the planet. We're saying that you were granted certain liberties that others just weren't.
yeah. There's certain things you don't have to worry about that literally just talk like to your fellow American if they have a different skin tone. There are certain things they had to worry about that you didn't,
Yep.
and that's the entire idea. Like you like what Trevor's talking about. You don't have to worry about just seeing a police car, knowing you're doing nothing wrong, and then worry about the violence that could result just from nothing. That's very. I have no white people in my life who have that fear or think about like even think twice about that. um, and it's so that's what it is, and it's also access to education. Like when you look at the averages, it's way lower access for Black people, of course, and people of color, and
Mhm.
it's all that stuff. It's just certain advantages that you get, and it's that's the idea. Certain privileges that are granted to you, and certain things you don't have to deal with. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means okay, this is a real thing. How can I help out? And live my life in a way that's sort of, you know.
I'm trying my best to find this text that Rocio sent me because it kind of encapsulates that. Like, okay, yeah, here. I'm just gonna read this word for word. Okay, she says, and like without context, she says, yeah. Who do you think is going to be followed around the store if they're wearing a black hoodie with the hood up? The Black, Asian, or Hispanic? Who will most likely get a call back from a professional job interview based on their name? Someone with a black sounding name or an Asian one or a white one? Who will most likely get reported for suspicious behavior? The black guy with a duffel bag or literally any other race? Like it's
Yeah.
not even about obviously it is about police brutality, but it's on all spectrums of life.
it's
You
very
don't
true.
have to think about certain things.
Yeah, I mean there are very real statistics. Like these studies have been done about like I mean, you can't really do a study about following them around in a convenience
Yeah.
store or whatever. I mean, there is that one Vine that's wicked fucking funny. That if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I can't really quote it. So,
If you know, you know.
yeah, there have been studies done and things like that on like job callbacks and opportunities and stuff like that about the hiring practices of companies and things like healthcare, things like there was one about people of color receiving less immediate care and worse care in emergency rooms.
Especially with giving birth.
Like literally, it just like Black people were disproportionately told that their injuries weren't as bad as they were, and were cared for less. Like that's an actual study. Like if you run that Google up, you will find it. So yeah, there's
Black women
all
are like
sorts of
3
things.
times.
There's all
Black
sorts of
women are
like things where it's just hard numbers. It's literally like you're looking at it. Like unbiased professionals have done this, and they have come up with these numbers, and they're putting it in front of your face, saying that like there is prejudice. It might be unconscious. It might be like unintentional, but it exists and it happens on a day-to-day basis throughout these people's lives. And so if you look at that, if you like that's the end all be all for me, is like I can tell you anecdotal stuff all day and you can say like, yeah, sure, but like there's 2 sides to every story, whatever. If I put that in front of you and you're still like, white privilege doesn't exist, like please just fuck off to an island somewhere and never talk to me in your life ever again. Like I don't want anything to do with you. And society really isn't going to benefit from your existence either. So please fuck off. Like, if you're that dense, like if you just like, I'm physically fucking shaking my head. Like I'm doing the same thing Trevor does, where I just talk myself into like an anger depression hole.
You just
which
talk
is
yourself
like,
into a stupor.
which is like a better state to be in than actually facing day-to-day violence. Like I take, but it's not about comparing, obviously. It's.
I was gonna say something about the healthcare with like black women being 3 times as likely to die in labor than
Really?
white women.
Jesus.
Yeah. Rocio's quoted that fact to me all the time. Maybe it's not exactly 3 times, maybe it's like 2.8 or some shit, but they round up. You get the point. White privilege exists. It's everywhere.
You have to question why that is happening, because that's not normal. That's not just. That's not equality. And so that's the whole thing, is taking steps to try to fix all stuff like that. Why is race tied to class? That doesn't just happen out of nowhere. I think you have to keep in mind that this country was founded from slave owners. The Declaration of Independence. I'm pretty sure that's the Declaration of Independence, where it starts with God damn it! I lost the line again.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
That all men are created equal. No, we're not.
Yeah, no. I mean,
no, we're not. They had slaves in their backyard writing that with their fucking quills and their parchments.
No, I fully believe that when they wrote the word men in their heads, like you know how on paper the words exist and they don't mean anything until like the dots connect in your head or whatever.
Yeah.
They looked at the paper and they saw the word men, and they read it not as we do, as like all people of, like, I mean, in that context, you would like to say it says all humans, right? But like they looked at the word men, and what it meant to them was white men,
European men,
like literally like
white European.
When they said all men are created equal, they were not including women of any kind, and they were not including fucking people of color of any kind. Yeah, to them, like, because they were less than human to them, like in their eyes.
They
like,
were three-fifths like of a man.
Yeah, man. That we could go on and on about that. I mean,
that's all you have to know. Like, that's all you have to realize is
that's the epitome of that. I mean, we might beat it on the path we're going down. If Trump gets 4 more years, we might get the epitome of bullshit like that again. But that's the epitome of the two-party system just being fucking ridiculous. Is like they sat down in a fucking room and argued for a long fucking while about how much of a person a black person counted as, so that they could get fucking more more representatives in the House.
Yeah, and it's called it's called the 3/5 compromise. They compromised by saying, "Oh yeah, they're 3/5 of a person."
Yeah, because the South wanted to count slaves as full people so that they could get more House reps,
garner more power.
And the North, where the climate isn't good for farming, so there's way less slaves, like massively less slaves, obviously. We're like, no, you can't count slaves. That just turns power in the House like completely to you guys. And so they sat down and they were like, we're not budging on this. And they fucking some old white dudes in a room somewhere in fucking, what was it, early 1800s, decided that a black person, a slave count, well, there basically were no black people that weren't slaves at that time. A slave counted as 3/5 of a person.
Yeah,
and they thought 1787. I'm sorry,
it was 1787. Oh, that was when they were writing. That was when they were writing the Constitution. So it was technically before the founding of the country. So it's not early 1800s. It's what you said.
Yeah. My complete apologies.
And that's,
so fuck. It's I mean that's
even further.
Yeah, but listen, like this.
Well, I'm an asshole actually. I got to take that back now. Because I said that's the epitome of the two-party system, and that's before parties even existed.
All right, yeah, then.
Yeah. It was just it was two sides trying to divvy up power or whatever.
I guess I'll amend my statement then and say, like, and this is how fucked it's gotten. Like that was before the party system, and now what we look at is the clusterfuck of the Senate and the House just like having a big old fucking circle jerk and getting nothing done.
if you want to give some credit, George Washington even warned against the two-party system. He said this wouldn't be a good idea.
Vehemently.
And now people are worship the leaders of the party like they're their gods. And I don't know, people making this compromise thought they were actually civilized people, and it's interesting. But they thought they were in their rooms and they have some sort of culture and high society to them that, the black people didn't have. And they thought, they knew something or whatever, and they were smart when they're talking about their fellow human beings, being 3/5 of a person and treating them as cattle. Where was I gonna go? Yeah, and it's just like, as a brief thing, there's no way we could get into the history between slavery and now of why the systems continued, but basically it's not like slavery ended and then the civil rights happened and racism was illegal. Like, it doesn't need to be explicitly in the laws. The drug war, like, it was in the plan to abuse black people because they didn't have the lawyers and the money to fight the system, so they kept doing that and it perpetuated the system. And you have kids going straight to prison because they had some grams of weed, and then they have no job opportunities when they get out. And anyway,
they got they got a war on drugs so the police can follow me.
Yeah.
And I never did a crime I didn't have to do.
Complete BS. It's a war on people.
That's Tupac on Changes, if y'all don't know that song, but
yeah,
people will listen to that song and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's a great song." Not even like, I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself.
It's a ridiculously relevant song for what we've been talking about.
For sure. Mm-hmm. I see no changes. All I see is racist faces. Misplaced hate makes disgrace to races.
Goddamn, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's such a crazy fucking song. But people will listen to that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a great song. That shit slaps." They don't ever take the message.
Yeah. That's interesting to me too, because I've been thinking a lot about how hip hop is the most popular genre in America and in a lot of places in the world. But just speaking to our own country, like, your people love hip hop and they'll listen to it all day, but it's like predominantly the people making this music you love and this culture that you love to be a part of and stuff. It's like they're talking to you about how they've been abused by the systems and the power that be and the police and stuff.
Yep.
And some people choose to just take the benefit of it and go, okay, I can listen to this music, and ignore the actual humans who made it. And I can't consume art like that. Like, people made this is their thoughts and feelings. I have to think about why they made it, at least, and acknowledge what was going on.
I agree with you.
It's a very human approach to art. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I think it's almost necessary for us, especially considering we're white and that we listen to so much hip hop. I could never take us seriously if we spent an entire episode on Kendrick Lamar and then didn't talk about shit that was happening.
Yeah.
Like, we live and breathe and bleed hip hop. And for us to like not ever say anything about it that's blasphemy to me. So I'm just glad that we're able to do this. And that I have friends that are open-minded and enough to have this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do we want to get into Kyle Fuckface, or do we want to just skip it?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I wanted to bring him up in the white privilege conversation because I'm using the word epitome a bit much here, but that's the epitome of white privilege. He literally murdered someone, got chased down by bystanders who watched him fucking murder someone to get the gun away from him because he just fucking murdered a person, and he shoots again. Whether or not he meant to, I place my bets on he meant to pull the trigger. I don't think the gun just went off. I'm pretty sure he was like, "Oh, I'm defending myself. I'll fucking pop this guy too." So he ends up killing 2 people
and blows the arm off of a third.
Then walks past the fucking police, and they let him go. That man went home and slept in his bed, and then only after videos got surfaced and stuff was anything done.
Yeah, they didn't arrest him on the scene.
No.
Yeah.
There's a video of him walking up to the cop cars. They're in the street, and this is after he kills 2 people and shoots a third with an AR. I want to get into the facts
that he wasn't old enough to have, by the way.
No.
17-year-old kid cannot be toting a fucking semi-automatic rifle, but he just has it, and the police are, fine with it.
Yeah, but he's walking up to the car with his hands up with the AR toted around his waist, and they don't fire him. They don't fire him. He
They don't
has an
arrest him, yeah.
AR-15 on his waist,
Yeah,
walking in the street.
that would be
If
the
he
time
was
to arrest him.
Yeah, if he was any other shade other than Caucasian, he would have been gunned down on the spot. That's white privilege. I think that about wraps up our thoughts. Cameron, you wanted to talk about something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to wrap up the conversation, and try to put a bow on it as much as we can for a messy ass conversation that this has been, and of course it's messy. It's about a very messy and fucked up topic.
Very messy topic, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but I just this whole conversation we had about Jacob Blake and the incident with him is that, like, this is why black people feel fear just living and are angry and have more than a right to feel that way. George Floyd was murdered more accurately, on May 25th of 2020. Protests and demonstrations for Black Lives Matter have been continuing straight through summer. I follow a Boston Twitter account that tweets out every day where the Black Lives Matter demonstration, where and when the Black Lives Matter demonstrations are happening.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So they've gotten lesser and more far between. I mean, they're gonna fucking come back now, obviously, and are. But yeah, so BLM protests going out through the entire summer, and now we're here in August. It's August 23rd. That Jacob Blake got shot at 7 times in the back.
Point blank.
At point blank range. The officer has his other hand on him, I believe.
Yeah, he's holding his tank top.
Yeah, and then he pulls the trigger on his weapon 7 times.
4 of which hit him.
If you watch the video, he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If the point is to immobilize this person or kill them, like, you don't shoot 7 times unless you're, like, very okay with just killing this guy right now. That's when you're, like, in a gunfight. That's when you shoot that many times. This man was fucking under no threat, following this guy to his driver's side door, and just fucking lays into him. We are almost 3 months removed. That's 2 days short of being exactly 3 months from George Floyd's killing. After 3 months of demonstration, 3 months of millions of people crying out, demanding to be heard, 3 months of what has simultaneously been some of those most amazing and heated moments of history for which I've been alive. 3 months of that happens. And a black man in the street is still shot 7 times in the back. I mean, you made the point that he only got hit he got hit 4 times of the 7, but 7 trigger pulls is what matters there. It's outrageous. There is every single justification for people to be scared and angry, and it is immensely frustrating for me as a person. I can't imagine putting myself in the shoes of the people who live this day to day, who, like you said, walk down the street and have to worry about, like, in the back of their head at all times, and sometimes in the very fucking front of their head, that, like, shit could go down with these people that we entrust and we pay to keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you kind of just have to keep your head up and try to
keep going, man.
Keep yourself informed.
Keep going, because
don't follow my footsteps.
I refuse to believe that shit will never change. It's going to be ridiculously fucking difficult, and it's going to take more time than really it should, or that any of us want it to, because of the way the system is set up. And by the system, I mean both, like, every level of government, essentially, down to, like, the city level, and just businesses, corporations, news media. That's what I mean when I say the system. The way that the world is set up right now, it's going to take a while, and it's going to take a lot of fucking force. But I refuse to believe that it can't happen. So just fucking keep going.
That's Trevor and I were talking about too beforehand how, well, we mentioned how it's, Trevor was getting depressed and we all feel the weight of it. I was talking about how, and again, like you said, we're freaking lucky to be as removed from it as we are. Like, people have it way worse, but how it just weighs heavily on your brain, and there's just times where you can't think about anything else. But I agree with you. Even though I was saying to Trevor, like, I don't really. It's interesting what hope means in a time like this. I was saying I don't have hope in general for the state of things, but it's not exactly
I'm right there
true.
with you.
Yeah, it's not exactly true because I don't have some sort of immediate hope. I don't have any positive outlook necessarily, and I don't think it'll be changed easily. There's not some emotion in me that
It'll even
lightens me up
happen in our
towards it.
lifetime.
It's not an emotional thing, but it's just an idea that even if I don't know, even if they take the whole world with them and we're still fighting, we still have to fight for it because, I mean, what are we doing otherwise? That's what
that makes
what
sense.
it's about to me. And I do think, like you said, it is possible, and I think that's what we're fighting for, and we can get there. But it's
I'm gonna be right with you guys if Trump gets reelected in November. I'm fucking my.
I don't think he will, but I don't.
Fucking hopeless. I will be without hope for the state of our nation if Trump gets reelected in November, because there are so many fucking Trump ads right now that are like, this is Joe Biden's America. It's like, Trump is in office. The rioting, the unrest, the civil unrest, the fact that everyone in America is fucking pissed off right now. This is Donald Trump's fucking America.
Yeah,
this is 3.5 years into his presidency. This is what we're getting, and you're saying, like, don't let this be Joe Biden's America. It's like, you fucking cooked this and put it on the table in front of me, and then said someone else. You shit in my meal, basically. Is what pissed in my cereal is what I'm trying to say, and then you like point at the guy fucking at the other end of the bar and being like, it was him. It's like, I just watched you fucking do it.
Yeah, you made the whole thing worse, and
it's a circle jerker hypocrisy, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't stand someone paying and editing and putting out this ad, or just speaking to me in this professional setting, like when they're giving a speech, and just lying to my face.
It's literally just a lie.
Yeah,
it's literally just
a blatant lie.
Like, the fact that we're allowed. I mean, I actually saw a fun video a while back about people. They went over to the UK and they did interviews about people talking about the election cycle and how it felt like it lasted forever, and I'm so glad the TV ads are gone now. You're only allowed to advertise for politics for like 3 months leading up to the election in the UK. That's like in law. I don't know the exact amount of time, but it's like infinitesimally smaller than fucking than in the US. And there's a whole load of laws that are like, the fact that I guess it's freedom of speech that you can fucking pay to put an ad that's literally lies to get elected and run the fucking country. It's like, I don't know how it's fucking legal or allowed, or we live in such a clusterfuck. It is honestly.
Get good, brother.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, I don't want this to be politically charged. I want everyone to just try to have a positive outlook. I know these are really dark times. Just talk with your friends, your family, have those awkward conversations if you can, if you have the strength to do so, and just keep moving on. Don't let this be the end of you. Don't follow in my footsteps. Don't get depressed. There's no reason to get depressed. You got to keep fighting, unfortunately.
Take care of your
fight's
mentals.
Just begun.
Yeah, exactly. Have the conversations, get educated on the statistics and the history of stuff, and then
it's not our job, like on this podcast episode, to educate you. We're simply using anecdotal evidence. This is all like an asterisk. It's up to you to educate yourself. We can't educate you. We're not professors.
Yeah, we've cited the statistics, but they're much more in depth ones. There are giant studies on this out there.
Yeah.
Sociology, criminology. I mean, there's like consensus in this field that there's absolutely racial inequality in the
Yeah.
United States. I mean,
And if you're always personally bothered by comments on white people, you have to understand their perspective. You have to understand that they've been stepped on for 250 years,
shoot,
even more than
longer,
that before we came here.
400. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
yeah,
I was just talking merely in the United States, but
yeah. Since it's been around,
even more. Yeah, you have to understand that there's underlying anger from all this shit. So
and
just
yeah,
listen to them. Don't ever. You can't take it personally because obviously you're not a slave owner. They're talking about past events and shit leading up to this.
and yeah. If it's about politics, just a big issue affecting society, or other people, just I try to just start off with empathy and what are the facts, and you try to understand what people are saying and how they're feeling, why they're feeling it, and understand what the actual facts are, and that's to me that's all political thought can really be based on. You can't just be angry at some people and then use that to justify everything else. It
Yeah,
just can't work that way for me. Yeah. So
I agree.
yeah. Um. All right.
I had something to say, but I fucking forgot it. But yeah,
Well, I can fill in.
keep your head up.
I wanted to say something about what you said at the very beginning of your last bit there, Trevor. You said not to like, we don't want to get political. It's like, this isn't like, you're correct in saying that. Like, everything I was spouting off about Trump is obviously fucking political. But Black Lives Matter is not a political statement. It's not. It's just that Black lives should matter. I mean, politics get involved then because we're looking for legislative change.
Yeah,
That's when it becomes political. But saying that people shouldn't be murdered it shouldn't be such an outlandish thing to say. It shouldn't be politicized in any way, shape, or form until it gets to like making legislative change.
Well, yeah.
Please stop saying all
This
lives
is not
matter.
a political conversation.
Just at the bottom
just
line.
Stop it.
Stop saying
You're literally
that.
harassing
You're-
people. You're literally being an asshole. Just if you don't understand why I'm calling you an asshole, fucking educate yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I have my reasons. I am I've done the reading. Like, we all showed up here ready to fucking, like, with evidence, with backing, with knowledge. So if you're like, why is this guy on the internet calling me an asshole for just typing a hashtag? Fucking learn why.
Please educate yourself.
Yeah.
Stop indirecting.
Put in the effort to be a functioning member of society.
Yeah, please stop saying like, what about white lives? What about Asian lives? They all matter, obviously.
That
dude.
house is not on fire.
It's the goal. Yeah, that house is not on fire. Exactly. That's the goal, is that all lives matter. You cannot redirect it to all lives matter because then you're just completely ignoring the plights of the black man. It's ridiculous. Stop fucking saying it. That's all I want to say.
And I'll say this thing with this might be a somewhat different opinion or just my perspective on the idea of not getting political. There's sort of different definitions people use for political. Like in the narrow definition, it's about like who's running against each other and all that stuff, and like the government, who's in the government positions of power. And yeah, I'll never like say like try to force someone to vote for someone and all that, but political in general, politics is about forming the society you live in to be civilized and how you think it would be best for everybody. I think people in the working class and stuff, I think it's a detriment to us that we're afraid to get political because it's just the real world at the end of the day. Like, if I offended you from this stuff, then okay, but that's nothing compared to what's going on and people's dying and having like equality of opportunity taken away. Like,
I mean, to be clear, when I said not to be politically charged, I was just talking about I didn't want it to be derailed into a Trump hate shit.
Yeah,
obviously we hate Trump, but I wanted to make sure that we stay on the topic.
We stay on the topic. Trump.
Yeah, I don't want to get wrapped up in campaigns. To be honest, I really don't want to think about it right now. But
No, yeah, don't want to get wrapped up in
I agree with what
campaigns.
you're saying.
I just mean, yeah, in general, people need to be able to talk about this stuff. I think people who try to limit that stuff might be afraid that their mind gets changed, or that the people under them minds gets changed enough to where they know what's actually going on, and they do something about it to change it. So it's just it's all ideas about the real world to me. So
Yeah, well said.
uh,
I think we
let's
should.
see.
I think we should move on to another topic.
We were gonna talk about music too, because on the issue of all this stuff and mental health and stuff, it's great to hear from artists who we love and just
Yeah. I want to, before we change topics, I just want to say, take care of y'all mentals. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, please.
If this is putting you in a bad headspace, which it probably is, because it's not fun to talk about, but it's necessary to talk about, go listen to our episode 5 drunk podcast, because that's a very good time. So if you want some levity, I mean, we're about to get into some more light topics right now, but if you want a full I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that of full on levity and fun, go listen to episode 5,
yes,
the one where they get hammered together, I believe we called it.
Yes,
they're hammered. Yeah.
So we wanted to get into some music. So our beautiful, one of the best rappers to live currently, he's a fucking alien. He's absolutely mind-boggling. His name is Black Thought, and we call him Thotty because he's so sexy. Yes, I love him.
It's a nice little affectionate nickname. Yeah,
he's fine as fuck.
Hey, his style. Oh my God.
Yeah, for sure. So David hasn't listened to this track, and I'm not going to talk about it too deep, but I kind of was a little underwhelmed on it. I also painted up to me.
So this is new Black Thought.
This was the Black Thought.
Yeah,
it's called Good Morning. Just came out today. It's the lead single for his third Streams of Thought album. I was a little underwhelmed with the track. Obviously his flow was impeccable as usual, and I'm sure if I listen to it a couple more times, I'll get around to it. But I'm never a fan of Swiss beats,
oh wow,
hooks, and hype man shit.
Yeah,
I find him a little annoying.
That's a beat producer, Swiss Beats.
Yeah, Swiss Beats. Yeah,
cool.
But
I find him a little annoying. His voice isn't for me, but
I can get that.
Yeah, he's on the hook on there, and he kind of sings really lackadaisically, and it's a little off-putting, especially when you have Black Thought, Pusha T, and Killer Mike on the same track, and then you just have him just singing like shit. You can't be married to Alicia Keys and sing like shit.
Oh,
dang.
rough.
Well,
but either way, I would like to give it some more listens. But David and I are so fucking hyped for this album. And
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I didn't listen to it, but
we thought. Dude, we thought it was gonna come out today, and it didn't.
It was supposed to come out a couple weeks ago or whatever, and then I thought it was gonna come out today, but it was a single. And I generally don't listen to singles before albums. I'm like so excited for that, like I'm gonna listen to them the first day or whatever, because it's like trailers or whatever for me. But I still might listen to this just because I'm excited, and like it's not like it's gonna ruin the experience.
No, it definitely won't, and it'll probably sound better in the context of the album.
Yeah, that's always good to keep in mind.
That's how I felt about Ultra Black on the Nas project.
Yeah, it worked really well on the album.
For sure.
One
track that we did listen to several times though was the Mr. Little Sean.
Mr. Little
Big Sean.
Is that his? That's his official name.
Yeah, Little Sean. Everything I do is little. Little.
Oh my God.
Yikes! I don't know.
And everything that I do
from,
is my first name. B.I.G.
David cringing just to. All right.
Little
so what were you
Sean
saying,
good.
Trevor?
Go ahead.
So the Big Sean track with he featured Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. This was the track I needed. I think I heard it maybe 5 or 6 times. I heard it a couple times in the whip. Ooh, that shit kicks. Hit Boy is on a streak. Hit Boy is going crazy right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, for sure. Nip kills that fucking not hook, the verse that he's on it. He opens up with it. Fuck rap, I'm a street legend.
Yep. That's such a perfect thing. Like I was saying before when we were the pre-production, like it's such a perfect
we haven't even
to
said
have
what the song is called, by the way.
Oh, Deep Reverence, Big Sean featuring Nipsey Hussle. It's a perfect feature for him to have on there. It's perfect at what he says. Like Block Love Me with a Deep Reverence. It's so true for Nipsey Hussle. I mean,
For sure.
everyone is, the Marathon Continues stuff. It's like people looking to him as a real example of a leader and like being an
And he
entrepreneur.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from nothing and trying to, form a business where he owned his own stuff and was,
Buying up his own neighborhood and
yeah, employing people, making things, better economically, and just,
he was a visionary.
yeah. Um,
And to see him gone, especially when he just broke out, like he was on another level. And I was talking to David about this. It's not even that his raps are so like lyrical miracle where you have to think about it several times for it to hit you, or like you're like missing a fucking entendre or something. It's just they're very simple lines, but they're heavy in meaning. So yeah, you can listen to it a few times and get different meanings, but it's just like it's so simplistic. There's no like overly complicated rhyme scheme. He just gets on the track and he's got that Dawn voice.
Yeah. It's
I think simplicity is king with him, and it's just
Yeah.
it works every fucking time. I love hearing his voice.
I will always say there's nothing wrong. Like, simple is not a negative adjective at all. It's like, it's really, like you said, it's not complicated, but he's bringing authenticity and experience, and he's like, it's, it just feels like such real hip hop. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
So
thanks.
authentic.
Yeah.
So fucking authentic. And
Yeah.
Sean goes the fuck off on this,
Yeah,
man. 64 bars, like maybe 80 if I didn't count, but damn, he starts at like minute 1 and it's like a almost 4-minute track and there's no hook. He just goes off. Man.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed about the song is I was like, what? He just goes, and then the song ends.
No, he doesn't
Like,
stop.
He just does his fucking work and then packs up and goes home. It's like, okay.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
flowed
I
like
guess
a
we're not doing this in
waterfall in this
shifts.
shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like when he
Sean's
when
just
he
gonna do all the
snaps
work
like
and-
this, he's like my favorite fucking rapper on the planet.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trevor's the resident Big Sean stan. And
For
like,
sure, dude.
But hey,
I listened to I Decided into the ground.
That's
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too, actually.
That's a
It's a really good fucking
like,
album, yeah.
Yeah, he definitely, like, I guess I'm not as big, but like the thing is he convinces me with stuff like this, and like all his recent stuff is just dope. So
And he's dropping his album next Friday.
Yeah, I'll see if Black Thought and him coincide. Trevor dies instantly.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die of excitement.
Yeah,
I probably won't even be able to sleep on Thursday night. I'll probably listen to it a couple times.
Man, I can't wait.
Just fucking stay up for midnight release and then listen to it until the sun comes up.
For sure. If y'all want to have a listening party, I'd be super down. We could just sit here and just sit on Discord and listen to it together as a family.
I got class, bro.
Yes, sir. Oh, come on. Not on Fridays.
I thought you said Thursday.
Thursday night.
Yeah. So I have class on Friday.
Dang.
Oh, you do?
Tough.
Yeah, I have one class.
That sucks.
It is online though, but I still have to attend and take notes.
True.
I do want to talk about my maybe next week once I've had another week of it. We can talk about going to university in the time of Corona.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
How were your thoughts on the Sean track?
Me?
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed.
That's it.
Nah, I mean that's the meme, but of me disliking good music. But nah.
Bars, good music.
I was a little I didn't like it as much as you did, Trevor. So I came into it like thinking it was gonna be because you were texting us like listen to this fucking track. It's amazing. It's like god tier.
Oh, I was blowing up.
Yeah, and I didn't like it as much as you did, but I still liked it a lot. The beat was a little weird for me. He like raps off beat in a weird way sometimes, Sean. But other than that, I mean I wonder if because you were listening to it in your car. How's the bass in your car?
It's fucking ridiculous. But I also listened to it
very good.
on my phone. The first couple times I listened to it, it was on my phone speaker.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I mean,
I was freaking out.
The beat really just like didn't hit me at all, in a way.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, that shit's slizzaps.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It just it didn't like strike me. I like it, but it didn't. Like,
I mean, no, it's. I mean, don't twist my words. I mean, it's definitely not like it's not an astronomical beat, but it's for what it is.
yeah, sorry.
It's
Yeah.
I like it.
So yeah, but the songs, the song itself, I mean, for context, I didn't know, I'd never heard the name Nipsey Hussle until it was on the new, it was on Twitter that he had been shot and killed.
Yep.
I knew nothing about him. I didn't know he existed. So, I still haven't really listened to anything by him, which is kind of an injustice on my part, but also not really because I don't listen to a lot of stuff. So it's not like I'm avoiding him or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'd imagine it's a very different experience for you guys who were already fans of Nipsey, hearing him posthumously.
Yeah.
And those words that were spoken who knows how long ago. I mean, I'm sure you could figure it out, but whatever. Mean a lot more when you were a fan of him before and all that stuff, I would think. So I think that probably hit you guys harder than it did me.
Are you talking about the ending little segment?
Both, actually.
Okay.
Now that you say that, both, yeah. Yeah, I mean the ending bit is actually,
it's super heavy.
it's so sad.
It's very
like,
sad because we were literally robbed of great music.
Yeah. He's like,
We were-
I got
we
all
were
these
robbed.
collabs lined up, like it's gonna be great, and then he just gets fucking snatched.
Yeah,
From the
he
world.
says at the end of the track he has a little bit where he says yeah, me and Big Sean talked about doing something recently. He's gonna tap in with all Detroit, and that he just wanted to collaborate with all kinds of artists, tap in around the nation.
Yeah,
He
it seemed like he
gets-
always had big
So, yeah.
plans.
I definitely
Yeah.
liked it, but just I didn't
Yeah.
love it like you said you did, Trev.
Okay,
Well,
interesting.
that's good with what we want to say now
But
because
Sean,
Yeah.
Sean bars out as what I fucking. I'm
Okay.
sorry to cut you off again. I got myself lost and didn't say what I meant to say. Is that Sean does bar out? Like a lot of his bars are good as fuck, and they flow real nice.
They're very very relatable in terms of anxiety. He says something about like in high school he learned about chemistry,
Yeah,
but not how to
that
cope
was
with
my favorite part of the
anxiety.
song actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
is like I learned all this
I-
stuff in high school from all these books, but like they didn't teach me how to live life. Like I have
Yeah.
all these problems that no one ever taught me how to deal with, like with my mental health and all these things. It's like, and he talks about like even being suicidal. It's like I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine being suicidal when I have all this stuff until it happened to me. Like when
Yeah,
I'm
those are heavy.
surface level successful, but I'm still having these like dark thoughts about my own life. It's like can happen to anyone, man.
yeah,
I love that suicide bar. He says something like I think I have the. Let me find the lyric.
Yeah, pull it up.
Look, I ain't had the thought of suicide in me until life showed me all these different sides of me. Too many times I thought the Reaper was outside for me. And then he says something about how people never meeting him, hating him. And,
Yeah.
and he's
yeah.
trying to take care of his family. And
yeah.
yeah, it's heavy. It's a heavy track for sure.
It's definitely very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we were going to. So last week we've been doing this thing, recommending Cameron the hip hop albums that we love.
Mhm.
Last week
And we want to
talked
branch into more genres, but
about-
for now
for sure,
it's hip-hop.
yeah, for sure.
For now,
Last week-
we're targeting the area of least education.
There you go.
There you go.
And our area of probably most education.
For sure.
You haven't listened to Nipsey before. Last week we did Illmatic. Now we're going to modern hip hop. We wanted to recommend Nipsey Hussle's 2018 release Victory Lap.
Yes.
Very cool.
Absolute modern
guess
classic.
I guess I spoke that into existence in a way.
Yeah, you did for sure.
I said I'd never listened to him. I didn't realize you guys were cheesing at me like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
we wanted to give you the experience, the full experience. This is his, like all the deep fans. I never heard anything before this. All the super true fans are. They all say that this is his most cohesive body of work, and this is his most succinct and powerful
Cool.
body of work.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Works very much
I
for
think
me.
you'll
I'm
really
excited.
enjoy it.
Let's do it.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's a bit
Nice.
long. It's 18 tracks, I think, but it's
Oh,
it's
wow.
well worth the spin.
Oh yeah, and I remember I took a while after Trevor's like great recommendations, like recommending it so hard for so long. I took so long to listen. I don't know why, but then it was just like, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, David texted me out of the blue because I had recommended him to listen to this same album, and then like maybe a few months later, I don't know how long it was, he texted me out of the blue and he's like, "Yo, by the way, I listened to Victory Lap," and I just like started freaking out, like, "Yes, you listened to it, yes, yes!" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Dude, this is so fucking hard." I'm like, "Dude, I've been telling you, bruh.
That's
Yep.
good. That's good. That's cool. All right.
I've been preaching."
Now I
it,
can be
so-
part of the Nipsey Hussle Club.
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, sir. And just like Trevor listened to the Billie Eilish EP now after
Hey,
time or not. Yeah.
We're changing.
And
We're
you-
growing.
we are
Yeah.
growing, that's for sure.
We're
I
diversifying
am no
our
longer
interests.
I'm no longer the resident Billie Eilish hater.
I listen to a country song.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy. This
There you
podcast
go.
is literally changing our lives.
Let's go. That's what it's all
That's
about.
the whole fucking point, baby.
Unboxing life.
Bars.
I think the EP is called "Don't Smile at Me." I always want to call it "Don't Look at Me" for some reason. And it's fucking great. It's phenomenal. The bass is crazy on that album. I don't know if you guys have heard it in the whip or anything, but if you throw it on a sound system, she's like next to drowning in that bass. Like the 808s are crazy.
Damn.
Dang. I never
Um,
heard that EP. Just for
Oh god,
yeah,
listen
I just
to
heard
it.
No,
the
I haven't heard
album,
it
and
either.
Yeah.
there's dope bass on there, but
You haven't heard it either, Cameron?
No, I've just listened to a couple of singles from her.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. It's
Ocean
super
Eyes.
short. It's like
When the party's
25 minutes
over.
long.
nice.
I'm kind of upset because you had blown up Ocean Eyes so much. And when I finally heard it, I was like, this is a great track, but it's not like the monumental Billie Eilish song. Like,
No, it's the best showcasing of her voice. That's why I was trying to get you to listen to it. I wasn't like, this is a god tier track. I mean, I like it. But you were talking about how you didn't like the way she like sings, like super low and slow and fucking weird. And I was like, go listen to Ocean Eyes. Like she actually fucking sings on Ocean Eyes. And that was just
There's
the one the easiest one for me to recommend. I'm sure she has other songs like that. I mean, you listen to the whole EP, and you know now more than I do what better examples of Billie Eilish there are. So, but yeah,
how
no,
the turntables.
yeah,
The turntable.
How the turntables, yeah. For facts.
It's great. It is pretty great for sure. I'm still nervous to listen to the album just because I don't think it'll be the same. I think stylistically she definitely took a turn for that album, but I'll still give it a spin.
Yeah,
Maybe we
let's
can talk about it next week.
give her an open mind or whatever.
We shall see. Yeah.
Yeah. I
My
wanted
favorite
to-
track on there was "Watch." By the way,
okay.
I thought that that hook is so fucking good, and the way she like inflects her voice for the you just have to hear it
Okay. I'll definitely listen.
for sure. There's a track called "Watch," and then at the end, "And Burn," and they're the same track, but I didn't realize that. And I was listening to it in the car with Rocio, and she's a huge Billie fan, and she's like, "Yeah, that's like the same song," because I was telling her that "And Burn" was my favorite, and I'm like, it's not the same song. And then it comes on, and it's literally a remix of "Watch," but it's titled different, and it features Vince Staples, who fucking goes ham on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And when when he's on it, the fucking 808s just spaz the fuck out. They just go crazy, dude.
That's funny as fuck.
Man.
Yeah, they're insane. You have to hear it in the car.
Yeah, I definitely want to now, man.
They're stupid.
I
I was
love
like,
Vince
I was so happy that I was at a red light because I turned to her and I was like looking at her with a stank face. I was like, dude, this shit is going crazy. I can't even hear Vince.
Trevor's stank face is overpowered, honestly.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, fantastic
man.
EP.
Dope.
Wholehearted.
I don't know if you guys have time, but we were talking about we talked about this a few weeks ago on the podcast actually, but freaking speaking of our favorite things, Erased, my guy. Trevor was talking about watching that next, and Cameron has not seen the show, and it is one of my favorite animes ever, and it's 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's super short.
Yeah, so
Erased.
So yeah, we will be
Yes.
running through that and probably talking about it next cast then, I guess.
Yeah. You think you'll have time to
man.
listen? Do you think you'll have time to watch it for next week? I know we
Yeah,
gave
I'll
you the
probably watch
Nipsey
it in a
Hussle
day.
album, but
I'll probably watch it in a day. I was saying I've been fucking smoking through anime recently.
Yeah.
I think I watched all of Legend of Korra, this like in 4 days or something like that.
Oh my god.
It's like 12
Jesus.
episodes with fucking
4 seasons. Yeah.
with 4 seasons. Yeah.
So you can watch a 3-hour anime.
Yeah, probably not 4 days. Actually, there's no way it took me only 4 days. Now that I say it, but it was fast. It's like I wasn't watching that much Legend because I would have to be doing nothing but watching Legend of Korra basically. But
Dang. Well, yeah. So we're gonna do that. I guess
We're gonna unbox some life together.
Yes, sir. Next episode. Get
Yeah.
hyped. I'm
We
so
wanna-
excited for you guys to watch this shit.
Yeah. You've seen it a couple times, right?
Yeah, twice. Once subbed, once dubbed. So they're both good to me. Whatever.
Okay. Where can we find it?
Oh shoot.
is it on Netflix? I think I remember seeing it on Netflix.
Let me see. Let me get. a
Maybe I
reliable
just
one.
remember seeing it around and I just put it in my head that it was Netflix.
Oh, it's on Hulu and Crunchyroll.
Oh,
Okay, I got Hulu.
Crunchyroll, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
okay.
got Hulu. We're good.
Dude,
All right, well,
my God.
Erase will be coming at you. Maybe a Nipsey review, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It might take some time.
Probably do it
either
later, yeah.
next week or the week after.
Might be the week after, yeah. But I'm excited to listen. I keep saying listen with anime. Jesus. I'm excited to watch more anime because I've been really lazy about it. I've been reading a lot lately. Like that's where
yeah.
most of my free time has been.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have an update for you with Harry Potter. I'm halfway through order right now.
The
I'm at page like
monster.
400. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
monster for sure.
It's another personal favorite of mine actually, but
Is that your favorite of the series?
I don't know. I texted Trevor, I think, about Chamber of Secrets. I love Chamber of
yeah.
Secrets, Order. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's been a while too, so I don't want to come down on one part of it. But
As of now, Sorcerer's Stone or
Ah.
Philosopher's Stone is my favorite by
Okay.
far. It's got so much cute charm. It's an undoubted, like they're all classic books at the end of the day,
yeah,
but it was just the one that started it all, and it has so much innocent charm to it.
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so uplifting. I love that story.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to have read Order by the end of next week, so we can talk about that, and hopefully I'll watch the movie by then, and I'll get to
Cool.
move on to Half Blood, which is Rocio's favorite.
Yeah. All right. Oh wow. Okay.
So
Well.
other than that, I think we'll stop here, gentlemen. I think we
Yeah, it's about that
covered a
time,
lot
right
of ground.
there. Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. This was definitely.
Very difficult to do, but needed.
Yeah, it was hard. We were nervous. We were all, I think, feeling anxiety about covering this, and we wanted to do it sort of right to the extent that we could do it, and just talk about what we thought about it or whatever.
And
But
respectfully, yeah.
yeah, definitely respectfully.
Again, prayers out to Jacob Blake's family and him especially.
Yeah,
Please pull
And-
through, dude. We're always thinking about you.
yeah.
You didn't
Black
deserve
Lives
that shit.
Matter. Yep.
Black Lives
Um,
Matter for sure. Fuck all lives matter.
And so, yeah, and we enjoyed having a light little segment talking about art and art and entertainment and everything. And we will join you guys next week. And
Hopefully we'll
new
have
things.
some hopefully we'll have a lighthearted episode filled with some anime and some music.
Yeah. We want to have a fun time here as well. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah, of
You want
course.
to say anything, Cameron?
It's a variety cast. As a
Yeah.
closing remark, I'll say get your news from multiple sources. We say educate yourself.
Indeed.
Hard.
We say educate yourself. And when some of you might be asking, how do I go about doing that? The best way is to get your information from a variety of sources. Don't let one. Well, I mean, the worst thing you can do is go with a Fox News or a CNN. Those are the biggest ones. And they have. I said this to Trevor before the podcast started. Major news media corporations aren't news corporations. They're entertainment corporations. They make money by making you sit in front of the television long enough to watch the ads that roll in between news. So they want to keep you in your seat, so they'll tell you what you want to hear, essentially. That's why we have these two media companies that are like left-leaning and right-leaning, because they get their demographic that way. Like, so don't let one person tell you what's going on in the world. Get your news from multiple sources. See all sides of the story. That's how you can best educate yourself.
Also, yeah, like Google Scholar or JSTOR, if you have some access to some of them, just especially if you go to college, sometimes they'll just give you access. JSTOR
like
and
the
Google
library
Scholar,
databases.
Yeah, library databases. You can find academic studies and resources that are very helpful too for finding the statistics and stuff like that.
And don't believe shit like that without sources. Like, make sure you don't believe your random ass like Facebook friend that you can't remember adding, posting. I don't even use Facebook anymore. It's a cesspool.
A shitty meme.
Posting, but people will post stuff that's just like a black background with text, and it says like 70% of all people born in 1980 are serial killers. It's like,
no, show me the Carfax.
It's like, obviously they're not something that ridiculous. I came up with that garbage ass example off the top of my head, but there are actual things where people just literally like type it out and send it out, and then people will accept it as fact. It's like, get sources, get academic sources.
Yeah.
And I guess while we're on a binge of saying I hate telling people how to live, but don't anchor on just headlines. Read into it.
Yeah, headlines are clickbait. Headlines are
they're designed to make you click so that you can read and stay on their website long enough to buy things that are shown on ads. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's the agenda, is for you to buy shit. So just don't anchor onto just headlines. You need to get the actual facts. And I don't want to sit on a fucking soapbox and tell you how to live your life. Just
we're not we're not better than the next person or whatever.
Absolutely not.
This is what we've learned, and
just trying to pass it on.
Yeah, pass on some knowledge and stuff.
We fucking love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We'll continue to keep pumping out these podcasts as long as you guys are here.
Absolutely.
And even if you aren't, we're still gonna do it. So
yes, thank you so much for listening. For real.
For sure.
All right. There you go.
Take care, everyone. Please stay safe.
Stay safe. Take care.
Peace out, baby.
Adios.
Yep.